In 2013, the FBI shut down the most dangerous website on the internet, a website that had processed over 9.5 million Bitcoin in transactions, worth more than $1 billion. A website where you could buy heroin, cocaine, forged documents, and hacking tools as easily as ordering a book on Amazon. And it was all run by one man, a mild-mannered, libertarian physicist who called himself the Dread Pirate Roberts. This is the story of Silk Road, the rise and fall of the internet's most notorious black market. To understand Silk Road, you first have to understand the man who built it. Ross Ulbricht was born in 1984 in Austin, Texas. He was, by every account, brilliant. He studied physics at the University of Texas. He earned a graduate degree in materials science. He was kind, philosophical, and deeply curious about the world around him. But Ross Ulbricht was also disillusioned. He had grown tired of what he saw as government overreach, laws that told people what they could and couldn't do with their own bodies. He believed in radical personal freedom. He believed the free market, left alone, could solve society's deepest problems. In 2010, sitting in a small apartment in San Francisco, Ross had an idea. What if he could build a marketplace, completely anonymous, completely free, where people could buy and sell anything they wanted? No government, no banks, no middlemen. What happened next would change the internet forever. Three technologies converged at exactly the right moment to make Silk Road possible. The first was Tor, short for the Onion Router. Tor was originally developed by the U.S. Navy. It bounced internet traffic through thousands of relays around the world, making it nearly impossible to trace who was doing what online. Tor created the dark web, a hidden layer of the internet that law enforcement could barely see. The second was Bitcoin, the revolutionary digital currency, launched in 2009. Needed no bank, no name, no address, just a string of code. Send Bitcoin to anyone, anywhere, and leave almost no trace. And the third, the global appetite for drugs. Studies showed that prohibition had never stopped demand. People were buying drugs anyway from dangerous dealers in dark alleys, risking their lives. Ross Ulbricht believed he had a better way. In January 2011, Silk Road went live, hidden inside the Tor network, accessible only if you knew exactly where to look. But nobody could have predicted just how fast it would grow. In the beginning, Silk Road was tiny. Ross listed a small batch of psychedelic mushrooms he had grown himself. He had almost no users. Then, in June 2011, everything changed. Gawker magazine published an expose titled, "The Underground Website Where You Can Buy Any Drug Imaginable." Within days, Silk Road's traffic exploded. Thousands of new users flooded in. Sellers from around the world set up shop, and the marketplace took off like a rocket. The Dread Pirate Roberts ran Silk Road like a CEO. He recruited moderators. He enforced a strict vendor rating system, similar to eBay's feedback mechanism. He banned the sale of weapons, child pornography, and anything designed to harm innocent people. He wrote lengthy philosophical manifestos about freedom and economics. Users loved it. They said it was safer than buying on the street. Vendors were reviewed and rated. Products were tested for purity. Disputes were settled through a built-in arbitration system. At its peak, Silk Road had over 10,000 drug listings. It generated an estimated $1.2 billion in revenue over just 2.5 years. Ross was collecting a commission on every single transaction, growing richer beyond anything he had ever imagined. But the bigger the empire grew, the harder it became to hide. By 2011, the U.S. Senate had taken notice. Senators Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin sent a letter to the Attorney General demanding Silk Road be shut down immediately. The DEA, the FBI, and Homeland Security launched coordinated investigations. But tracking someone inside the Tor network was a nightmare. Every lead went cold. Every IP address led nowhere. The Dread Pirate Roberts seemed untouchable. Investigators tried everything. They set up fake vendor accounts. They ordered drugs to trace shipment patterns. They monitored Bitcoin wallets. It took 2 full years of painstaking detective work before they got their first real break. And it came from the most unlikely place. Early in Silk Road's existence, Ross had briefly posted on a programming forum under his real name, asking a technical question related to the site. He deleted the post quickly, but the internet never truly forgets. A sharp-eyed agent found it, buried in an archive. Then came the bigger break. A small configuration error had briefly exposed one of Silk Road's servers, leaking a real IP address. Investigators traced it to a data center in Iceland. The walls were closing in, and Ross had no idea. But what happened next shocked even the FBI agents, who had spent years hunting him. October 1st, 2013, San Francisco Public Library, Glen Park Branch. Ross Ulbricht was sitting at a table in the science fiction section, his laptop open, logged into Silk Road. As the Dread Pirate Roberts, live and active, two FBI agents staged a distraction. One pretended to argue with the other nearby. Ross turned to look. In that single moment, a third agent swooped in and snatched the laptop. Open, unlocked, connected to Silk Road's admin panel. If they had waited, even seconds longer, Ross would have closed it. The encryption would have locked everything away. It was over. Ross Ulbricht was arrested on the spot. He was 29 years old. The investigation that followed was extraordinary. Agents found detailed journals on his laptop. They found financial records. They found personal messages. And they found something even darker. Evidence that Ross had allegedly attempted to hire hitmen to silence people he feared would expose him. Though the murder-for-hire charges were never brought to trial, they became part of the story that defined him in the public eye. In 2015, Ross Ulbricht was convicted on 7 federal charges, including drug trafficking, money laundering, and continuing a criminal enterprise. The judge sentenced him to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. The story of Silk Road is not a simple one. It is not a straightforward tale of good versus evil. Ross Ulbricht genuinely believed he was building something that would make the world freer. Harm reduction advocates pointed out that his platform may have actually reduced drug-related violence in some communities. Some users said it saved their lives by letting them buy from vetted vendors instead of dangerous street dealers. And yet, people died because of what flowed through Silk Road's pipelines. Families were destroyed. The platform, whatever its intentions, became an engine for addiction and crime. After Silk Road fell, dozens of copycat markets rose to take its place. Alphabet, Hansa, Dream Market. One by one, they were shut down too. The pattern repeated itself again and again, because the dark web did not create the demand for what Silk Road sold. It simply gave that demand a new address. The question Silk Road leaves us with is not whether the dark web can be shut down. It can, and it will be again and again. The real question is this: in a world where the internet can make anything available to anyone, anywhere, what does freedom actually cost? Ross Ulbricht sits in a federal prison today, serving a life sentence. His supporters call him a political prisoner. His prosecutors call him the architect of a criminal empire. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in the shadow between.